Good evening, farmers and aspiring farmers. My name is Stephanie Sharon Okayo, and this is the Farmers Drive. So, before we get into the show, I'd like to urge you to follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as A Farmers Media. We are also live on Facebook and YouTube. On today's topic, we are going to talk about water management and basically focusing on irrigation and irrigation equipment. So I have a very wonderful guest with me. I'll let her introduce herself so that she can tell us what she does and talk more about everything in the show. Welcome, Margaret.
Thank you. My name is Margaret Yatoli, Director at Smart Green Irrigation Kenya. We are based in Kitengela, Kajiado County. We deal with the irrigation specifically. We do installation. We also sell the products. And also we provide the after service to the client. Yeah.
Okay, so Margaret, tell us, how was your journey here?
My journey here was wonderful. I really appreciate your invite and honored to be here at A Farmers. And mine is basically to say thank you for inviting me here as a company.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So I'd like you to tell us, how long have you been in this irrigation industry?
I've been in this industry for the past 3 years now, since 2020. And as Smart Green, we started in 2021, November. And the journey hasn't been that swift. The industry has an ups and downs. But I'm glad to be here in the agriculture industry sector. And I think we'll talk together and see what we can do for the farmers. You know, they're supposed to be also enlightened on how to go about irrigation and the best choices they need to make when getting into farming.
Okay, so tell us, how did you create this passion about irrigation? What made you have this passion on irrigation and dealing with irrigation equipment?
Having been born in the village, being and like my education, my parents have been doing farming to. My father is a farmer. Let me start from there. So he has educated us through farming also, and I had that passion in doing farming, and that's why I decided also to venture into that. And my most passion, the most thing I want to introduce into farming, the industry, is also educating farmers on the right choices to make. You know, people hear of farming. When you get into farming, that is where money is. Like farming is gold. But when some get in, they get the wrong information or the wrong advice on how to go about farming. Yeah.
So basically, that it drove you to start doing irrigation. Your parents, because they're into farming. So what makes it interesting?
What makes it interesting is how technology is evolving, and also getting to pluck your own vegetables from the farm, eating fresh food, and getting to know that farming is the backbone to economy in the country. So working with people who are bringing in the most that people need in the country for it to grow is what I really look into.
Okay, and what are some of the challenges you've faced in this industry for the years that you've worked?
First of all, is how the Kenyan economy is. You understand, everybody is crying, we're broke. So the more the farmers cry, the more us as the sellers or the irrigation companies are affected. And also there is tough competition, and at times you find there are products which can't quote counterfeit.
Okay.
But I can't rule them that way. yeah, it's just in quotes, but again, you find there are those cheap products, and they are of no good quality compared to the ones that you want farmers to use.
Yes.
So the competition between the lower quality and the best quality is really affecting the market right now. Yeah. And with the economy now, you find somebody goes for the cheap one, not considering that this cheap, they always say cheap is expensive.
Yeah,
You'll have to go back to the shop to buy, and it's really affecting the market right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all these challenges, how do you and your team manage to overcome them?
We try hard to advise our farmers or our clients on the reasons why we have to sell them the best, and we tell them that they are saving for the future also, because this is an investment. A farmer who wants to do an irrigation for, like, let's say 1 acre, cannot really make a mistake of going to buy the low quality product, because at the end of the day they'll have to go back to the shop, and the more they buy, the more they go back to the shop, you find they are drained. I have a case whereby you find a customer really complaining, like, I was buying this product, and now I bought this and I now have to redo it again. You see, because maybe the product that they were sold was not of good quality, so they have to go back to the shop to buy another one to replace. You see, and that is how you find, like, they're getting into losses, and at the end of the day they close down. Like, they don't want to again do it. They get that notion that farming is a scam, of which is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both know the benefits
Yeah.
of farming,
Yeah,
because
it's-
farming, for me, I believe that farming is the next big thing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
True.
Okay, so on to the next question. You said that the economy is bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd like you to tell us if you have achieved any of your long-term goals for the 3 years that you've been in the industry. If you have achieved any of them, and maybe how you plan to achieve them.
Okay. I'm not yet there.
Yeah.
Smart Green is still journeying to its dream, and I can say we've achieved some of our goals in a way, and my best achievement is when I see my client or clients getting that profit from what they invested in. That is my greatest achievement also. Getting to see a client smile, getting to know that that client is able to put food on the table and also get food to another person's table. That is an achievement I can say I've achieved now.
Actually, I could be a very frequent visitor if I got products that are really working and I can maintain them, not costly maintenance, not spending a lot, and not keeping coming back to the shop to request for the same thing that I've
Sure.
used. Yeah. So let's now dive into the drip irrigation aspect of it.
Yeah.
Tell us, what do you understand by water management?
Water management is where you plan and you plan, develop, and also manage the water resources, and from there you are able to save. Actually, we are talking about saving that water for future, or now for the irrigation that you're now talking about. Yeah, you manage on how you're going to use that water, not wasting it.
And so, what are some of the practices apart from irrigation that we can put into place so as to manage water? Because we are not going to talk about irrigation, let's just drift a little bit out of it.
The practices.
Yeah.
Okay, for me now, what I can say, the practices we can get it into is we can do recycling of the water, and you see the recycled water is still, you can use it into farming, and maybe if it's a sewer water, you can use it to irrigate your grass. There is a process of how you can do the treatment to how now it reaches to irrigating your grass.
Yes.
Yeah, then I can advise farmers to have enough storage. If now, for example, you see Kajiado is a dry area.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when the rains come, they hit hard.
Does it really rain in Kajiado?
Yeah, at times it rains.
Especially Kitengela. Does it rain in Kitengela?
You can say at times you are blessed, but when it rains, actually, it rains hard. I think people here have seen how it rains, and there's a lot of water that goes wasted. It drains back to the river that are always dry. So what I can advise is farmers to take advantage of that and create storages. There are those they can dig a dam.
Yeah.
Yeah, and put liners there. There are those materials that are called the dam liners. They can use them to as a reservoir for water, so that when now it goes dry, they can use that water to do irrigation. Or for now, the farmers in Kajiado, some are rearing kettles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can use them. They can still use the water to feed on the animals. Yeah.
I really want to experience being a farmer in Kajiado, or rather Kitengela to be specific, because ever since I moved in Kitengela, I've never seen rain. There's no day I've seen rain, but it makes it interesting because you know how to innovate. Yeah, you know what to use on the farm. If you have to source for water, you'll have to do it. When it rains, you unakuwa ready for water harvest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on to the next question. What are some of the challenges that face irrigation in general?
The challenges that are facing irrigation is lack of water. The water
Kitengela
is
water.
everything.
I'm
Yeah.
insisting with Kitengela water.
Yeah, water is everything. And also, some farmers lack knowledge on how to start farming, on what to plant, or they're supposed to know the kind of crops they can plant. There is a calendar, or the technical part now is how agronomists can now advise you better.
Yeah.
I think I'll bring in my agronomist to
Yeah.
give details on that.
We'll be happy to agree.
Yeah, they are able to guide you on what crops to plant on what season. And also you're supposed to know the type of soil that is on your farm. You're supposed to do a soil test.
Okay.
Yeah, and you find those farmers who are not advised well, and it really costs them. Yeah, because there are seasons when you can plant onion.
Yes.
And there are seasons when you can plant tomatoes or vegetables and get good yields. So that is part of the challenges that farmers get. Those that they don't get the proper advice or the as from a specialist. And also, no, I can say there are many challenges actually, and also finances. It's a big challenge also. The lack of finances. And in Kajiado, there are many farms here. But now getting access to water is now what is causing people not to farm mostly here. Yeah, because you have to dig a borehole, and the water is also salty. So when you're doing irrigation, you find if the water is too salty, it blocks the emitters. Yeah, so you have to again know the kind of water that is there, or you're using. There are those farms, there are those boreholes that doesn't have so much salty water.
Okay.
Yeah, the salinity is not that much. Yeah.
So in short, you're saying not all water is good for irrigation.
Yeah, not all water. The salinity also affects the crops, and also the drips. Yeah.
Okay, that's something new, because me I just take water and pour on my plants. I don't even mind whether it's saline. Would you tell us what is salinity for those of us who don't know what salinity is?
It's the amount of salt in the water.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's just self-explanatory. Salinity. So, will you talk to us about the irrigation equipment that you sell?
Okay, we do sell products like the drip lines, the sprinklers, uh, then also the fittings for the drip lines. We have the pipes, the PVC and UPVC pipes and their fittings. Also the dam liners, the shade nets, the greenhouse polythene papers. Yeah, and several of them.
Okay, let me take you back a little bit. I've actually thought about that salinity. Salinity. So tell me, how do I know that water is salty when I just look at it? Or
okay, there's a test that is done. You see, before it's just the same as the process whereby when you want to dig a borehole,
yes,
they have to come test. They have to come do a test. Like you can't just dig a borehole anywhere. You see, so it's a test that is done the same way a test is done for the soil. Yeah, so that you'll able to understand if this water is also good for your crops, or do you have to use any other chemical to how do I put it, like to reduce the salinity? Yeah.
Okay, so do you know some of these chemicals that you might be using? Because I'm interested, I'm a farmer. I want to start irrigation. I don't want to irrigate my plants with salinized water.
Now that's why I've told you. I'll bring in my agronomist.
Okay.
He'll talk more about the chemicals that farmers can use.
Yeah.
He'll talk about the types of seedlings, because there's a big variety. There are many companies that are producing these seedlings and the chemicals. So he's in a good position also to advise farmers.
Okay, we'll have to get that contact.
Okay, sure, I'll share the contact.
Okay, so what are the factors that I as a farmer should consider before engaging an irrigation system in my farm?
The factors that you need to consider first is the type of soil on your farm, the type of crops you need to plant, and also availability of water. It's just the same way you've been talking about. You need to have water on the farm.
Yes.
And also, what is your purpose, like in the irrigation? Do you want to be a large scale farmer?
Yeah.
Or a small scale farmer? Are you into the export, or do you want to do local?
Okay.
Yeah, because these products also vary. The plants that you want to plant. If you want to do local, you'll be guided on the types, the timings, and for the export, they're very delicate.
Yeah. Let me understand.
Yeah.
So, which form of irrigation can you say that wastes water? Is there any irrigation system that wastes water?
Yeah, we have different types of irrigation. We have the drip irrigation and the overhead irrigation.
Yes.
The drip irrigation is in two types. We have the drip line irrigation, then we have the baton irrigation. Drip line is where the pipes come in when they're already perforated. They have the emitters.
Yeah.
So you just lay them on the farm. They're in a spacing of 15, 20, 30. At times, they can be customized on your need and a customer's need. Yeah, depending on the type of crops they're planting. 15 centimeters is mostly used because you can intercrop with the drip. You can decide today I'm planting maize, and maize goes at a spacing of 30 centimeters. So you find if you're using 15, at least you'll be jumping one emitter to the next to give a spacing of 30. And now when you are done with the maize, the next season you can do maybe, let's say, beans, or which one can you use now? Or let's say onions. Onions need
Sorry to interrupt you, but with that, we are taking a break, and this video is sponsored by Sprout. Thank you for staying with us. That's been Stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.
Yeah, I was talking about. Sorry about that. We are talking about the drip irrigation, the drip line, because
Yeah.
I talked about the two types of drip irrigation.
Yes.
You have the drip line and the button. Now, on the drip line, as I was saying, it comes in the drip line comes in different size spacing. We have the 15, 20, and 30. And 15 gives you it's like an open. It gives a wider variety. Like you can plant different varieties of crops with it.
Okay.
And like 20 also is not that bad, but 30 gives you that big spacing that you cannot use on, let's say, onions. Onions, they are planted at a closer range.
Yes.
Yeah, so with 15, you can do intercropping. Like today, I'm doing this, the next season, I'm doing a different crop with different spacing. Yeah. Then now we have the button drip irrigation. The button drip irrigation is where you get, it comes in a pipe, 16 pipe. Then we have the buttons. They're called buttons. And the pipe is not perforated like the drip. Yeah.
Interesting.
So now mostly the button is used on trees. Yeah, if maybe you're doing an orchard, you can use the button drip. If you are maybe doing just trees around your compound, you can use the button drip. And that one now, the button is pricked on the pipe close to where the tree is planted.
Yes.
Yeah, and that way at least it gives you, it's open. It gives you an open range on where to put your button or where you want to plant your tree. And like now the drip where it comes already perforated.
Yes.
Yeah. Then we have overhead irrigation. Overhead irrigation is where you use the sprinklers. Yeah. And the sprinklers come in different sizes, from half-inch to, as you can find, even 3-inch. Yeah, it comes in different sizes.
So does it mean that it depends on your farm, whatever you're planting?
Yeah.
That's when now you decide which type of irrigation system you want to put.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so when I was young, we were doing drip irrigation. Actually, I want to tell you so that you tell us if we were doing the right thing or we were doing, it wasn't working. Because we used to take bottles, soda bottles, we take with the bottle top, we prick, then we insert in the ground, in the soil. But then,
Like you cut the top.
Yeah, you cut the top a little, just a little bit. But after a few days, you'll find water has flown. It is the same.
It's okay. There is a. Oh, I forget. There's another drip where it now it came into like the one you're talking about. We evolved.
Okay.
We now have the bottle drippers. Those bottle drippers, they work the same as the one you're talking about, but then it comes with a stand, and also it's like a cap on it. So you just close it, you prick a small hole on top of the bottle, then there is a valve that you put on so that water drips.
Yeah.
Now with that one,
Yeah.
you won't find a frog inside, because mostly you will find frogs in the bottle.
Yeah. They come
making
to
noise.
stay.
Because there is water there.
It's the habitat.
Yeah. Yeah, so that one, at least we have evolved on that, and it's beautiful. With that one, you don't have to use piping. At least it's just a plug and play thing. You buy the bottle dripper. You take your bottle, a 1 liter or 2 liter bottle, then you close it, and that is it. Then you place it close to your tree or anything you want to water.
Okay, so it's just anything. We won't overwater plants.
But I cannot advise that on maybe a big farm. That one, maybe if you're using at your own, like a small compound with few trees.
So it's
Or
only
maybe
tree crops.
not trees. There's a farmer who is using that to water his vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really working well. And also the flowers.
Because I have a kitchen garden, I'd like to try that technique.
If they're not that close, it's okay. But if not, just do a drip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense actually. So what is the difference in what are the factors to be considered during costing, creating the cost for the irrigation system? Are they different?
Yeah, they differ. They differ. Mostly what we do, we have to go on site. And first of all, you need to know the water source. Where are you getting water?
Yes.
Is your tank well raised? Because now the drip irrigation uses the gravity water. But the overhead, the sprinklers, they use pump. There are those who will use the normal gravity water. But the big sprinklers, they use because of the pressure gauge, they use the pumps. They have to connect with a pump. And we were talking about
the factors.
Yeah. Now you have to first, we need to know where your water source is. Is the tank well raised? And also the size of the farm. We need to know how the shape mostly, because we have to know if it's on a slope, where are we laying our pipes? Because these fittings are different. Everything has its own work. So we have to know what is fitting where. Yeah. So from there, we'll be able to know the kind of items you need at your place and do a quotation for you.
And do you consider environmental factors such as climate and weather when advising our clients to buy an irrigation system?
Yeah, we consider that also. Yeah, because like right now, if if you would ask me the best irrigation now, I'll tell you drip irrigation is the best.
I was going there.
Because with the hot weather now, if you do the overhead, you find most water is wasted on the ground where you've not planted your crops, and weeds will be also competing with your crops. So when you're using a drip irrigation, water drips exactly where your crop is, and also there is no erosion, or you're not losing nutrients from your where you're planting your crops. Yeah. So you need also, like that way, you're also conserving water from getting wasted actually. Yeah.
So we can say that drip irrigation is the most common type.
It's the most common.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So on to the next question. Okay, in an irrigation system, you can find that there are water losses. Apart from drip irrigation and overhead irrigation, I remember in the past there used to be flooding the farm
Furrowing.
with water. Yeah, that's why. Furrow irrigation. Okay, why isn't it being practiced now?
There's no water to waste.
Yeah, there's no water.
There's no water to waste, literally. Okay. Unless, there are those who are still practicing that, but mostly there are those who are next to a water body, because if you're next to a river, you have that privilege of pumping water to your farm. But I doubt if Kajiado can try such a thing. Yeah, Kitengela, no. Yeah, but that one is used to where somebody has access to water, enough water. Even the overhead irrigation. Yeah, that one you need to have enough water. Yeah, with a pump. And you see that one, you either have to have a solar, and but solar can do well in Kitengela, Kajiado generally, and our neighbors.
Yeah. It's so hot.
Yeah, it's so hot. So with solar, but because most farmers are also are also embracing solar energy
Yes.
to pump water on their farm, and it's something that is also working well. Yeah, because of electricity bills nowadays are too high, so
Yes.
we have to improvise. And you see, solar is the best way to go.
Yeah.
I hope I'm on a light note, actually.
Yeah, yeah, it's the best. We want to save.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to save. The economy is kicking us.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So we've spoken about all the good things about irrigation, and there are some risks associated with irrigation systems.
Yeah, the risks. First of all, when you want to start farming, you don't get into farming with the high hopes of I'm going to make millions when you're starting. It's like just any other business. When you're starting a business, you have to know that there are losses to make before you start making that profit. Yeah, so a farmer who is most focused and knows that this is my passion into farming will not want to do his or her first harvest to be the like make profits, more profits, because you know there are those there are funds that you put in, you're expecting them to come back triple.
Yeah.
Which never works. That is a guarantee actually. For the first time, you can't get 100% of what you expect. And that is what we always advise. Never get into farming with hopes of making money the first harvest. And also, the can call it like a challenge is making sure that you have the right people on your farm and also you are hands on.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you are not, that is how you make losses. Yeah.
So what can we say are the major causes of these losses in an irrigation system?
Major losses are caused by lack of best management on the farm. And also, at times, maybe a farmer might lack resources to push into the farm. And you find that people who get water from maybe a neighbor or from a different source, or maybe they buy water to do irrigation, and you find that water is not enough for that farm. It gives them a challenge whereby the yields won't come out as expected, and not getting the right advice from the let me say like the specialist agronomists and the farm managers.
Yes.
Yeah, getting the right people on the farm
Okay.
is what causes either a loss or a profit.
Okay, I know some of our viewers or even I would like to venture into this irrigation system, want to put it in our farms. So, for example, if I don't trust you well enough to bring you to my farm, because people have trust issues, what are some of the questions you expect me to be asking at your premises? So that I can know what best you can determine what best I can use, or you must just come to my farm.
Okay, we have different people you're asking about. Are you asking about the farm manager or now, like, let's say the agronomist?
About the farm manager.
The farm manager. A farm manager must always have at least knowledge with agriculture. And also, that person should prove trust.
Yeah.
They should prove that they can be trusted. Though it's a gambling thing, you never know human beings. So, yeah. And mostly is knowledge about farming. Yeah, the knowledge will help you because when they know what they are going to do there, you will not have that hard time being on the farm all the time. Although you are supposed to be a hands-on person on your farm, but at least when you have somebody that is assisting you, you will be always updated on what you're supposed to do.
Okay. So what are some of the factors that affect irrigation?
factors that affect irrigation in which way? Like
In terms of, okay, what are some of the factors that affect my need for irrigation in my farm?
the same factors like the one I've told you, poor management.
Yeah.
Poor farm management.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about overhead irrigation. We already had a glimpse of it. I want to know, how is it installed? The cost. Yeah.
Okay, for the overhead irrigation, we have the sprinklers, which are low pressure sprinklers and high pressure sprinklers. The high pressure sprinklers are mostly pumped, the water is pumped for it to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the pressure is too high. They use pumps specifically for water to be emitted. And for the low pressure, there are those that we just use, the gravity water. There are those still you can use on a pump. Yeah, and for example, if you are doing planting maize, I can advise that there are sprinklers which are called the impact sprinklers and the rain gun. We have impact sprinklers that can still work as a rain gun, but they are not as powerful as rain gun. You see that the rain gun, they're just the name rain gun.
Yes.
Will show you how powerful it is. And mostly they're used in big farms. Yeah, because the pressure is too high. And the reason why we don't advise them on crops that are flowering is because when the pressure, the water is pumped at high pressure, the flowers will fall off.
Okay.
So you find it's like you are in fact putting yourself into a loss. Those flowers are the ones that are supposed to give you what you are looking for, that crop. Yeah. So the costing differ with the type of sprinkler you want, because they're in different sizes, different categories, and I think with that one I can say can be shared. If you want for me to share a quotation on that, you can let me know your need.
Okay.
Then I'll share on that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fine. With that, we take our second break. This video is sponsored by Sprout. See you soon.
Conservation agriculture is a way of farming that keeps nutrients and moisture in your soil. It's also a good way of controlling pests and diseases. The three main principles are minimum tillage, mulching, and crop rotation. With minimum tillage, you only disturb the soil where you will be planting. You can do this with a reaper or using a djembe. The second principle is called mulching. This means that you cover your soil with leftover residues such as leaves or maize stovers. This protects your soil from the hot sun while holding moisture in the ground. The mulch material will break down and add nutrients to your soil. Crop rotation is the third principle. You shouldn't plant the same crop on the same piece of land year after year. Instead, rotate between different crop families each season. If you follow these simple principles, you can be certain of healthier soil and higher yields in the long run.
Welcome back. Let's continue with the conversation. Okay, tell us, what are some of the economic benefits of irrigation and how can it help smallholder farmers reach their goal?
First of all, I can say the small farmers are the one running the economy of a country. Because you find the mama mboga goes to the farm to get that mboga to come sell to the market, and that is how the cycle goes. Because you find the large scale farmers are going to sell their products outside the country. They export them actually. So the benefits, like the benefit, the major benefit is it brings it helps in the country's economy actually. Yeah, and it also creates job opportunities, and it helps the people to be busy actually, and also we get to eat fresh food. Yeah.
Okay, so who do you think should spearhead this championship for irrigation?
In terms of
In terms of agriculture, in terms of when you consider the climate in everything, is it the policymakers or us who are on the ground?
us who are on the ground actually, because we know what is happening on the ground, and the government should be there to support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to my next question. How does climate affect irrigation?
Climate affects irrigation. Uh, Mostly, you find when it's dry, the water level goes down. And even if we say that we have boreholes to dig, most of them go dry. We witnessed this last season we had here, the water level was down, and most boreholes went dry. So most farmers stopped farming because there was no water. Buying water again was expensive for them. And you see that one is really affected in a way that now there was little farming.
Yeah.
And also you find it affects even the human in a way that there is shortage of food. The animals are affected because there is no water to drink, there is no grass, there is no food generally. So it affects the human and the animals in general. Yeah.
Okay, so this will be my last question. What would you like? What tell us your final thoughts on irrigation practices and why we want farmers to adapt them.
Okay, thank you. My final word to the farmers mostly, because those are the people I'm aiming at.
Yeah.
It's to embrace farming, because farming is very sweet, and they should always do it with a passion. Get engaged with professionals. Always learn to ask, like also embrace the technology. There are those who have not yet embraced the technology. It's really moving so fast, and through that, I think we'll have very many farmers. The small scale farmers will be now growing into the large scale farming. And that is the major thing we are looking into, people getting into farming. And as I said, economy is run mostly by the small scale farmers. And that way we need to look into that, maintain that, and do that as a passion. And I would really like to thank you for hosting me here. And in case there is any farmer who would like to reach out, our contacts will be shared, and I'll be really ready to help and answer more questions if need be.
Okay, is there anything that you feel like I've left out but you want to tell us, you want us to learn?
Um, okay, I think we've covered most of them. What I'll just like to encourage is people to learn mostly, like to engage, to know like the technology is running so fast, and we need to catch up with it.
Okay.
Yeah, and our agronomist will be here. He'll advise more. He'll give more knowledge to the farmers on what they need to do with their crops and the types of irrigation. If you want to choose drip irrigation, the benefits of it, overhead irrigation, the benefits of it, and also the disadvantage of the both.
Okay. Could you tell us where we can find you on social media?
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook at Smart Green Irrigation Kenya, uh, on Twitter, Smart Green Irrigation, and also on WhatsApp, the 0714 500 323.
Okay, thank you so much for being with us. I believe me and my viewer have gotten so much insight in it. If you are interested in venturing into irrigation or you are in agriculture but you lack that basic knowledge about irrigation, I hope we've impacted you with some knowledge. And asante sana. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
We'll contact you for another show, or we'll contact your technical team
Alright.
so that we can get deeper and deeper and know more about irrigation.
Karibu
Sawa.
sana.
Thank you so much. So at this point, we are going to close this show. Thank you for being with us. And this show was sponsored by Sprout.
Conservation agriculture is a way of farming that keeps nutrients and moisture in your soil. It's also a good way of controlling pests and diseases. The three main principles are minimum tillage, mulching, and crop rotation. With minimum tillage, you only disturb the soil where you will be planting. You can do this with a reaper or using a djembe. The second principle is called mulching. This means that you cover your soil with leftover residues such as leaves or maize stovers. This protects your soil from the hot sun while holding moisture in the ground. The mulch material will break down and add nutrients to your soil. Crop rotation is the third principle. You shouldn't plant the same crop on the same piece of land year after year. Instead, rotate between different crop families each season. If you follow these simple principles, you can be certain of healthier soil and higher yields in the long run. Conservation agriculture is a way of farming that keeps nutrients and moisture in your soil. It's also a good way of controlling pests and diseases. The three main principles are minimum tillage, mulching, and crop rotation. With minimum tillage, you only disturb the soil where you will be planting. You can do this with a reaper or using a djembe. The second principle is called mulching. This means that you cover your soil with leftover residues such as leaves or maize stovers. This protects your soil from the hot sun while holding moisture in the ground. The mulch material will break down and add nutrients to your soil. Crop rotation is the third principle. You shouldn't plant the same crop on the same piece of land year after year. Instead, rotate between different crop families each season. If you follow these simple principles, you can be certain of healthier soil and higher yields in the long run.